Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Money Hungry Mama podcast. I am so excited because I have Leah here today. Leah, take it away.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait to get to chat with you a little bit about my babies and my business.
Love it. So, Leah, tell us about your children, how many you have, and your business.
So I have 4 children. They are 2, 4, 7, and 10. 3 little girls and a little boy. Poor dude is sandwiched. He's got one little sister and 2 older sisters. So he is going to be an amazing husband someday because he will be truly terrified of his wife.
Love it.
Yeah, he's fabulous. And then I also have a wedding business called Nerdy Nuptials ICT, but the most exciting thing that I do is the Society of Child Entrepreneurs, and we teach financial literacy, leadership, and entrepreneurship to kids.
Cannot wait to talk about this because I literally saw it and my jaw dropped to the floor because I think this is incredible. So, what inspired you to start the Society of Child Entrepreneurs?
My kid, the oldest one, who she's 10, and she's a mess, but I'll give you the whole backstory here.
Love it.
Well, 2019, I owned an in-home daycare, and I loved my daycare. It was fabulous and amazing. My stove and my microwave magically just turned off at the same time one day and wouldn't turn back on. So I called out the electrician. The electrician pulled them out, cut a hole in the wall, and discovered 10 years of black mold in the walls of a house that I had owned for 18 months. So that meant I had to temporarily shut down my daycare so that my daughters and I could go live in a hotel.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So we went and lived in a hotel. We shut down the daycare. It was just my 1.5-year-old, my 4-year-old, and I for a little bit because dad was deployed. Dad came home. They still kept working on our house. Finally, January 1st of 2020, we moved back into our house. February 2nd of 2020, he deployed. And we scheduled our grand reopening for our in-home daycare for March 17th, 2020. We lived in Los Angeles County at the time, so it was the exact day that they issued the stay-at-home order. And we could not reopen our daycare. And then I was like, it's okay. Like, we can wait 2 weeks. We'll redo it in April. It's fine. Then our city opened a free for essential workers childcare that you could walk to from my house. And I was like, okay, we're not reopening anytime soon. So my husband and I decided to start a financial coaching company. But since he was deployed, we were doing everything through like Zoom and Google Documents and stuff like that. And I was watching like Business Savvy Mom and Christy Wright's Business Boutique videos on the living room TV so that I could watch them while I was watching the kids. And in May, late April, early May, my oldest daughter, Melody, came up to me and was like, Mom, I want to start a business too. And being a reasonable mother, I looked at my 4-year-old and said, no, you can't start a business. You're 4. And being a 4-year-old, she replied with, why?
Great answer. Great question.
I didn't have an answer other than because you can't, but we were in unprecedented times. So it's like, we're trapped at home anyway. I guess, what are you going to sell? So she decided to sell these paintings where she would paint the background and then she did drip art, so very Jackson Pollock style art. You would use a Google form to select the 3 colors you wanted, whether you wanted glitter or not, and then she would paint them and ship them to you. The first time she sold to a stranger blew my mind, because I thought she would sell to some grandparents and be done. It was amazing. After COVID, she did her first children's business fair and she loved that. And then in 2023, we left California and we moved back to Kansas, where my husband and I are from. And I wanted her to find a way to like quickly find some friends. So I decided to host a children's business fair. So I was like, look, we'll just find a bunch of other kids who have businesses and they can be your friends and it'll be fine. And so we hosted the children's business fair and it was so much fun. But I was in education. And at the end of the day, we just sent the kids home. And my educator heart said, we had a whole bunch of kids who wanted to learn and we didn't teach them anything. Why are we doing this? So I convinced some friends that they should support me in starting a legitimate nonprofit that taught entrepreneurship through children's business fairs and hands-on activities in 2024. And so we're about 1.5 years now, and we've hosted 6 or more children's business fairs. We've had 50 to 75 kids who have participated in at least one of our events. We have a full 36-week curriculum. We have an online platform, and we have monthly member meetings. So the kids get to really come and hang out with us. All of it because my daughter decided to start a business at 4. She also started her second business at 7. Her and her younger sister started a lemonade partnership. So they sell $6 a glass glittery tiger's blood flavored lemonade. It is the best lemonade you will ever have in your life. It is so good. And she came up to me today and told me and brought me the logo and business plans for her third business.
My gosh, what's her third business?
It's called, what did she call it? For real, or forever celebrations, something. And it's a pet birthday party services, but she wants it to be a green company. So she's going to have a whole bunch of fabric and yarn based party decorations and ceramic dishes. And she's going to make you your little like doggy birthday cake and some treats, and then bring the decorations to wherever you want to have your party, decorate for your dog's or cat's party, feed them their treats, take the pictures, watch you celebrate with your pet, and then take the dirty dishes and the fabric materials home, wash everything, package them up to be ready to use for the next party.
My gosh.
Is that not the cutest? I'm like low-key very proud of her, but also a little overwhelmed because I don't want to start another business right now.
This girl is going to be like a billionaire in a couple years.
Isn't it the cutest idea though?
That is the cutest idea. I'm literally sitting here like, how has that not been done? That is so cute.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Okay, so wow. So your daughter is just such an inspiration in this because literally since 4, she's like drumming up businesses left and right. I feel like I need to see a picture of this lemonade because I feel like it's not just like a regular lemonade. We could put it in the slideshow too because I'm sure everybody's going to want to see it.
It is so beautiful. Let me pull it up. I posted one on Facebook one time. But she is also, so the Society of Child Entrepreneurs believes in the phrase nothing about us without us, which is usually used in advocacy groups, that you can't advocate for a group of people without having people in that group part of the advocacy. So we have a junior board of directors to help us figure out what we want for our children. So we have 6 kids on their own junior board of directors, and they tell me yes, tell me no, tell me when they want me to change lesson plans. They down with me and explained what the non-negotiable things that could not change in our programming were. And they are all between the ages of 10 and 14.
Oh my God.
Yes, so Melody is our junior executive director.
That is amazing. That is amazing. My gosh. So you have this board of directors because obviously like they're in it to win it. They know what they're going to do, right? But when you got started, how did you define entrepreneurship for children?
So the easiest way that I tell kids is entrepreneurship is solving a problem and getting paid for it.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm just like literally all you have to do is find a problem that you want to solve and then figure out how to explain it to other people so that they'll pay for it.
Oh my gosh. And, so I was an elementary school teacher too, and I'm just like in awe of the fact that you have this like curriculum and all these things. So this 6-week program, what does it entail for them to learn?
Okay, so 36 weeks. It's a
36 weeks.
It is a full school year, literally from August to May. The
Oh my
full school
gosh.
year. Yeah. It is based on where's my book? It is based on our characters, Astra and Zeke, that are behind me.
Okay.
And every lesson is a story of Astra and Zeke and how they work with their clients. And then the kids apply that to their own businesses and then they go practice doing the thing. So week 1 is Astra and Zeke defining like what is an entrepreneur and what does it mean to be an entrepreneur. Week 4 is problem spotting. And so problem spotting is different from complaining because complaining is pointing out problems. Problem spotting is identifying problems you think you can solve.
Love it.
And then like week 24, they work on social entrepreneurship and they learn about how their business can make their community a better place. And then week 36, they do a children's business fair and they literally take the product that they have invented throughout the school year and they sell it to the public and they make real money.
I'm in awe of this.
It's amazing. Look, I'm going to grab you my book really quick so you can see it. So this is my cute little book. This is Astra and Zeke. They're adorable.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'll show you. This is my second favorite page. See all those colors. You can see it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
But my favorite page is the last page. They're inside their clubhouse. This is Astra and Zeke's office. This is where they work, but we snuck in some cool cameos. So this is my daughter Melody. This is my daughter Serenity. This is my daughter Cassandra. And then over here on the other side, we snuck in my son, Nicholas.
How
And then
cute.
we snuck in like our board of directors' granddaughter, the illustrator's son, some of our friends. Like we just had a blast illustrating all of our friends.
I think the thing I'm most in awe in is, like, how much you've accomplished in such a short amount of time.
It's been very aggressive because I'm like, I know exactly what I want this program to be. So I'm not going to waste time. We're just going to make it happen. So we're piloting the curriculum for the first time. And these poor kids, the curriculum is designed to be 72 hours. So it's 36 weeks, 2 hours a week as an after school program.
Mhm.
Super easy. Well, I got a school who agreed to let me pilot it, but they will only give me one semester, by the way, and also only 1 day a week.
Oh my
So
god.
they're doing 72 hours of programming in 18 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's an older group of kids. So the curriculum is through third through sixth grade, and this group is sixth to eighth grade. So they're old enough that they can handle the rigor of it while still testing the program and the products and everything. But I'm like, you guys are literally drinking from a fire hose and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
All
But
right, I found.
I also, like, my mind is just, like, racing right now. So, okay, so you have this nonprofit, which is beautiful, and then you have this program. So let's say, somebody finds your program. Can somebody just take it at any point, or are you doing, like, cohorts throughout the year because you have to plan these business events at the end?
So here locally, I contract with a school and that school starts it and they do the whole thing. And then that each school hosts their children's business fair. I organize it and run it. We do it on their property. Probably early 2027, maybe sooner if I get really lucky. It'll be a 3-inch curriculum binder that literally any school anywhere can buy the binder and run the program. And then they can start it whenever they want, finish it whenever they want, run it as a summer camp, anything they want to do with the curriculum as long as they're touching all the bases. So they don't have to like start in the middle. Because if you start with product development and you haven't done problem spotting yet, then you're like, what am I developing a product for?
Mhm.
So you do, especially the beginning levels, really have to go in order.
Yeah. Okay, so this is really cool. Okay, so basically, the goal is by 2027 for you to have this curriculum essentially that any school district can purchase and run, and you're giving them the clear cut way to do it. So you physically do not need to go to each district and plan these events. I love this.
Right. Well, and they'll be able to, like, I've pre designed all the worksheets, I've pre designed all of the rubrics, all of the quizzes, all of the discussion questions. Eventually, this book will be one of 36 books. So every lesson will have a literal book for you to read to go with it and everything.
This is so well thought out.
I'm very OCD. Actually, I shouldn't say I'm OCD. I'm AUDHD, which is just as bad.
This is incredible. Okay, so is there a specific story that you have in mind besides your incredible daughter of a child that is, like, killing it in their business because of this nonprofit?
Okay, I have three, but I will
Amazing.
tell you my favorite one first. Well, I don't know. They're all three my favorite. I'll tell you the funniest one first.
Okay.
It's the one that really put me in my place because I tell people all the time, like, I teach leadership and entrepreneurship to kids. And I firmly believe that children can be leaders in their community and they can identify and solve problems. And my daughter speaks at city council when she sees things in her community that she wants changed. And I firmly believe that all children have the capabilities to do that. But sometimes there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance as a human being of believing something and acting on it.
Mhm.
So I was teaching a class on problem solving, and it was when we were first founded. We were maybe 6 months old at the time. So the class only had 3 kids in it, and 2 of them were my daughters. So it was a 6-year-old, 9-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Okay.
And I told them, okay, you guys, we're going to learn about how entrepreneurs solve problems, and I want you to create a product to solve a problem. And to jumpstart this a little bit, I'm going to assign you a problem so you can get straight into the problem solving portion. And they were like, okay, cool. And I said, so the problem is we're all tired of porch pirates. No matter what kind of community you live in, even gated communities, sometimes your packages just get stolen. And it's really frustrating. So what are you guys going to do about it? And so they're like, this is a stupid problem. Just put a locker on your porch and tell the delivery guys to put your stuff in a locker.
Mhm.
Okay. Now the porch pirate is going to come and he's going to steal my expensive robot and my package. This doesn't feel better, guys. Because, I'm trying to keep pushing them deeper. And so they said, okay, well, what if we take 2 bolts and we bolt it to your porch so it can't be stolen? But since it's only 2 bolts, if you have to relocate it or you move to a different house, you can still take it with you. And I'm like, okay, this works. I don't have a complaint about that anymore. This has solved the problem. Now, when I get home, what if somebody sent me a present and I don't know there's a package on the porch, or my hands are full, or I lost the keys, or I forgot the combination? How do I get stuff out of this box? And they're like, oh, we know. And I'm like, okay, it's going to have facial recognition software. And I'm like, that's brilliant. You guys are super cool, super creative. You solved the problem. You guys have mastered entrepreneurship is solving a problem and going deep down into multiple levels to make sure you're looking at objections, things that could go wrong, what other problems might arise from your problem. I just have one more concern. I don't think you guys at 6, 9, and 11, I don't think you guys can create this product. And the 11-year-old, who was fairly soft-spoken and mostly just agreeing with the things that my very loud children were saying, looked at me dead in the eye, completely deadpan, like I was the stupidest person she had ever seen, and says, I'm in robotics club. I'll figure it out. Okay, fine. I teach leadership. I teach entrepreneurship. I teach kids are capable. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Oh yeah, she was like, I'll figure it out. Whatever. Like it would, like I had just asked her how to tie her shoes.
Yeah,
Facial recognition software, how to make banana bread. Same
yeah,
complications. It was fantastic.
I love that. Love the confidence. I love the confidence.
Right? Another fantastic story. One of our members is a 14-year-old boy. And you were in elementary education, so you know that reading for pleasure drops off statistically at a massive rate at 4th grade. After 4th grade, kids don't read for pleasure anymore unless they're actively encouraged and it's been built throughout their entire childhood. And he does read for pleasure and he loves reading, but he doesn't like that he doesn't have a lot of classmates to talk books with because they don't read for pleasure. So he found a secondhand bookstore where he can buy like a pallet of books for like $1 a book. And so he buys all these books for super cheap. He bundles them into cute little packages. And then he designed these bookmarks. And every bookmark was hand drawn. And then his mom had prints made of his hand drawn bookmarks. So every one of them looks like it was drawn by a 14-year-old kid. But the back is based on whatever genre you like. And it has 10 books in your genre that you should read based on if you liked one book. So if you come to him and you tell him, I really liked to read Divergent, then he'll be like, oh, great. Here's my dystopian futures top 10 books. Here's some other books that you might like. So then he is encouraging kids to read the books that they like and selfishly making people talk to him about books.
That is really cool. I
Yeah.
love this. So, like, the bookmark is that it's like he's like a walking librarian.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Very
just has
cool.
these cute little top 10 in whatever genre you want.
I love it. I
Oh, yeah.
love it. Okay, and what's the third one?
So the third one is this girl, she makes pins. So she made me this one. It says, she is fierce, strong, brave, and full of life. Super cute. She just buys these little beads. She assembles these pins. She started out her first children's business fair. She was kind of like, wanted her dad really close to her. She didn't want to have to talk to the customers. She didn't really have like a lot of confidence in what she was doing. She just knew that she wanted to make money and she had a bunch of pins. By her third children's business fair, she was cracking jokes with the other children. She was talking to the customers. Coincidentally, her third children's business fair, one of the employees at our local kind of like destination zoo, we're not supposed to call it a zoo anymore. They get mad. They say they're not a zoo, but it's a zoo, was there. And she loved her products so much, she actually got her in the gift shop at the location. So she was consigning her pins in the gift shop to this like regional destination. Like people travel here just to go to this zoo that's not a zoo.
My gosh. So it's even opening doors for them to get into stores, which
Right.
is
And she's literally was in the gift shop at 10 years old. She's in the same grade as my daughter.
that is amazing. So my son's school, I love this so much because once I saw your thing, my head was just going crazy, right? Like I love hearing about this. So my son's school did basically the same thing. They were learning about buying and selling, right? So he had to bring in 10 items that he made and they had different, like, currency, right? So, it was basically bartering. People would go around and it's like, "Okay, I would take one of yours for one of this, and you go whatever." So, he had to come up with a product, and we're sitting there, and it had to be something that he made, and we're like, "What the heck could it be?" This boy shouts out 6, 7 keychains. And I was like, "Actually, that's a brilliant idea."
That
So we
is.
got, like, the 6, 7 beads, and he made these keychains, and of course he sold out. I was like, "Wow, that was, like, so smart."
Yeah. It's amazing how absolutely brilliant they are when you I mean, like I said, my daughter is on at least her 3rd business, and this is not even including the ones that she's like, "Mom, can I?" And I'm like, "No."
It's
Sometimes
crazy.
I shut her down before she gets very far. So and several of my other members have had multiple businesses. They've reiterate, they build onto it, they add it. Melody's first business, Melody Paints, she has actually rebranded it to Melody Creates, and she also sells, beaded, like purse charms and graphic designs.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
just, like, as somebody who has been a serial entrepreneur because, I mean, the story is, like, I've tried close to 30 hustles to bring in money, and it's just, like, hearing somebody so young, I can't even imagine what they're gonna do in a couple years. Like, I can't even imagine the money they're gonna bring in having this mindset so young.
It's mildly terrifying as her mother. I mean, it's amazing as a human being. As her mom, I'm a little scared.
Literally okay, so for all of us listening that are like, "My child needs to do this, I need to bring this curriculum into the school," you're gonna have to keep us updated of how we can even tell our schools that something like this exists, because it's gonna be the first thing I do.
I'm gonna make it even easier for you than that. We just, in January, launched something called the Sochi Circle.
Okay.
So when we do our monthly meetings, it's essentially a mastermind for kids, and instead of a Socratic circle, we call it a Sochi circle because we're Sochi. But I will give the kids like a 15-minute instruction on whatever our topic of the month is. And then we'd have a small discussion as a group, kind of like digging into it. And then I open it up for a Socratic circle where I ask them, like, how does this apply to your businesses? What can you see going well? What can you see going wrong? And they have about an hour of open dialogue between the kids sitting around a table discussing business and business solutions and customer service and budgeting, just like an adult mastermind, only they're all like 7 to 12. It's amazing. But I wanted to be able to offer that to people who are hearing me on podcasts and don't live here in Kansas, or people who like live in Kansas but can't get to our meetings, or people who are overwhelmed, or they feel like they are homeschooling and they want it to be able to work with their schedule. So the Sochi Circle gives you a place where you can download lesson plans that you can teach in your own small groups. You can teach in your homeschool programs, but it also has one general forum. And every week in the general forum, I post a weekly challenge for your family to incorporate entrepreneurship, leadership, or financial literacy into your household. And then there is a child entrepreneur only channel where adults are allowed to read but not comment, for the kids to discuss their business ideas together and support one another.
I love that.
And then there is an adults only channel where grown-ups can say, like, I am struggling with this thing that my kid is trying to do. Has anybody else been here, and how would you handle it? So you have all of those different pieces. But it also starts out in the very first level with a worksheet for your kids on, is child entrepreneurship right for me? And a worksheet for you on, can you be a good guide for your child? And do you understand your role as guide, not manager?
That right there is an incredible question because I know it. I saw it. I was like, "Okay, these 6, 7 keychains," and then he's getting tired. So, like, there has to be something else where it's not him physically making something because, he was tired. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh." And there I was, like, not making it for him, but, like, all like, doing it myself, and I was like, "I like the way that I'm making it." And I was like, "What am I doing?" Like, I'm comparing how I'm designing this keychain versus how my 8-year-old is designing a keychain, and his sold out without my help. I think that is, like, a really hard middle that, parents need to learn of, like, let them do them, and, like, you can't control, you guide. That is such a great term.
I've had many occasions where my daughter and I have disagreed about her business. And I finally had to tell myself at one point, I am not her target customer. Like, that's really hard for me to say because, like, obviously my baby wants me to love her stuff, but I'm not her target customer. And so sometimes she makes things and I'm like, that's, I don't know about those color combinations, or like, that's kind of bizarre, unique, kiddo. And she's like, I know. And then those will be the things that sell out.
Yep.
And I have to be like, her target customer is other 10-year-olds, not 33-year-old moms.
Yeah, that's
So
how
I just,
I felt too. I was like, "That beating's a little much." I was like,
right, right. But if my job is to be her guide and not her manager, then I ask her, who is your target customer and what do they want? Not, here's what I want, make that.
"Oh my gosh." I have, like, chills because it's so true. It's like I guess it's like the control of being mom where, like, you're in control of doing everything else that they're supposed to be doing, so it's you really do need to find that balance of knowing that you're not their target audience. You are literally there just to chauffeur them around and help them in their business as you need.
That's literally, so my daughter wanted to speak at city council. We get to city council, she's got her little speech, we sit in the front row, and the mayor, we live in a small enough town and we've been to city council enough times. He recognizes us. And so he looks at me and he's like, "Are you guys here on behalf of child entrepreneurs or Girl Scouts tonight?" And I looked at her and I was like, "I'm not here. I'm just the chauffeur. She has something she wants to talk about." And he was like, "During citizen comments?" And I said, "Yeah, during citizen comments." And so they went through and they approved their agenda. They did their who needs to recuse themselves for whatever's happening, citizens' comments. And she literally, we had to pull up a chair for her to stand on because she's so short. So she could stand on a chair to reach the microphone and address the mayor. And she read from her script. She made eye contact when she needed to make eye contact. She got off of her chair and she walked up and handed the mayor her script so he would have a physical reminder of what it was that she was talking about, said thank you, and then we left to go to McDonald's.
Oh my gosh. Like, bravo to you, mom. That is incredible. That is
Well,
incredible. I don't think anybody in my life is ever encouraged to, like, be like, "Go talk in front of the mayor about how you feel." It's
yeah,
more of
well,
a,
she
like,
wanted a crosswalk.
"Don't
She
bring that."
literally went to the mayor and was like, "Paint a crosswalk right here."
Did he paint it?
So, sort of. We went like 3 weeks ago, and I met with the city administrator last week, and they invited her to come next week to their Main Street planning committee. They will probably paint it in 2027,
That's amazing.
but like they have to do some capital improvements to the rest of the road. And so they're like planning her crosswalk based on their improvements to the road. And so they invited her. She's actually going to miss a little bit of school to go to this meeting to tell them about Main Street.
That is amazing. That's
See, the thing is,
incredible.
I'm terrible about I pull her out of school way too often for things that she's doing. So she's gonna go to these Main Street meetings and she's gonna leave school. I've taken her out of school because the news station was at our office. When we did our ribbon cutting for our new office, I took her out of school so that she could be at the ribbon cutting. I'm like, it's an hour and my office is literally a 5-minute walk from her school.
No, and I think, like, I think there are some things that are incredible to see, like a ribbon cutting. Like, when is she gonna see that again, when she opens her own?
Well, this girl, when she was 7, 7 or 8, our Girl Scout troop was planting a tree in the city park on Earth Day. I thought that was a really big deal. We're planting a tree on city property on Earth Day. This is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
No, we're driving down the road and she's like, "Hey, mommy." I'm like, "What?" She was like, "I was just thinking." And immediately my brain is like, "Oh no, no." I'm like, what are you thinking, baby?" And she was like, "I don't really think we're celebrating our tree enough. Do you think you could call the Chamber of Commerce and see if they'll do a ribbon cutting?"
Oh my gosh.
So I called I called the Chamber of Commerce and they said yes. But usually for something like this, we would do a groundbreaking because you're planting something. And I was like, "Okay, so we're going to do a ribbon cutting and a groundbreaking." And they were like, "Yeah, we'll bring the golden shovels, the ribbon, and the giant scissors. We can do both." Okay. So I tell my daughter, "Congratulations, you got what you wanted." And she was like, "I should read a book." And I'm like, "Okay, what book are you going to read?" And she was like, "Let's go to the library and find a book about planting a tree." So we go to the library and we pull out every book that they have on planting trees on the shelf.
Oh my gosh.
And she hates them all. She's like, "None of these are good enough for my tree." And as we've discussed, I'm an author and I've written a lot of poetry. So I went home and I sat down and I wrote her a stupid poem. I shouldn't say it's a stupid poem. It's actually a really cute poem, but like it felt like it was a lot of pressure. I wrote her a poem that she could read. And then because I'm just as extra as my daughter is, I paid an artist to paint pictures of my Girl Scout troop planting the tree. So there's a picture in our newspaper, and it's literally all of these Girl Scouts holding these pictures that were drawn of them planting a tree. So we had the mayor, we had the newspaper photographer, we had the CEO of Girl Scouts of Kansas Heartland, my Girl Scout troop. We did a ceremonial groundbreaking with golden shovels and a ribbon cutting for this tree on Earth Day. The tree was literally 30 inches tall.
Oh my
Like, it
god.
was the tiniest little tree. Every one of the Girl Scouts was taller than the tree. But we had the biggest party ever for this teeny tiny tree.
Literally, like, all you're making me wanna do is, like, bring up how important it is to do bigger things. You know what I mean? Like, to celebrate doing stuff like this. Like, the fact that she even knew to call the Chamber of Commerce and ask that is wild. Like, my son doesn't even know what those words mean. I'm like, "Wow, this is incredible what you're teaching her."
Well, she had a little bit of exposure. Like 2 weeks before that, we went to the ribbon cutting for a new tattoo store. We have a woman-owned tattoo parlor on Main Street. And so when she did her ribbon cutting, I was really excited because I wanted my daughter to see, women-owned businesses succeeding.
Yeah.
So I took her to the ribbon cutting and they shot a money cannon into the air and everything.
Oh my gosh.
So she was like, ribbon cuttings are the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but I would have never thought to bring, him to a ribbon cutting. So, like, thank you for this because it's literally mind blowing to me. All these incredible things that you don't think about exposing your kids to early. But I feel like I have never met her in person, but I feel like I'm going to be reading about her in 20 years from now as like the richest human ever.
Maybe, maybe.
Like, it's wild to me. Like,
She's
you just
fabulous.
bravo. But she's fabulous because you exposed her to things for her to have a brain to become fabulous. So that is on you. You're amazing. That is
Well, and
amazing.
but all these resources now exist, so all of us can share them with our kids because my
100%.
dream is for us to have an entire generation of kids who are self-advocates, community advocates, leaders who problem solve and know how their economy works. And all of that comes from teaching them when they're still in their formative years. Because otherwise, we have kids who are 20 and we're like, by the way, it's an election year, you need to vote. And they're like, on what? And we're like, didn't you know? Like, no, you never taught me this before. And they're like, yeah, we forgot to teach you because you were a child and it doesn't matter to children. But
Yeah,
now you're an adult and we have these expectations of you that you can't fulfill because we never gave you the education to fulfill them.
100%. 100%. So, talking about this and listening to everything you're saying, what advice would you give to a parent whose child wants to start a business but doesn't know where to begin?
So, my favorite piece of advice is I usually start it before they're even ready to start a business. So I'm going to give you the backstory to it also. Step one is sit down with your kid and ask them what problems do they recognize in their daily life and what would they do to solve it? Like, and that's how you get them to like think about, okay, this is how you start a business. If they've come to you and they're like, I'm ready to start a business, this is what I want to do, then I just want you to ask them how. And then let them tell you what ideas they have because they've been thinking about it. They have some ideas. So ask them how. And then when they get to a spot where they're stuck, then say, what support would you need to make that happen? And then let them tell you. And then go provide that support so that they can do what they wanted to do. There are resources, connect with programs, join the Sochi Circle and send me a message and be like, help. I think I'm in over my head, and I will help you. There are programs. We will help. And then encourage them to go do it. And encourage them to try when they're scared and encourage them to try again when they fail. Not if, when. And let them fail. When you see the failure coming
Oh,
and you're like, oh my God, I can see it coming. It's like a train. It's about to hit my kid and it's going to crush them and they're never going to be the same again. Let the train hit them. Let them fail. Then pick them up and say, oh gosh, that failed. We missed these signs. What can we do next time so that we see the signs? What are we going to change so that we don't fail again? How do we reiterate so that we can do it again? Because then they're learning resilience and they're learning problem solving and they're learning grit and they're learning confidence. Do you know how much confidence you gain when you recover from a failure?
I
It's a
love
whole
that.
lot more than when mom says, I love you. I know.
Oh my gosh. So this has nothing to do with business at all. We went to, so our, we, okay. There is a local pizza place by us that designs these different shirts, and they only buy a certain amount. It's in one size, it's like double XL, and people come from everywhere just to get these different characters, right? So I don't know if your kids have been into K-pop Demon Hunters, but mine are
Gosh.
obsessed.
Yes.
So that was this month's shirt. Well, we go, and my daughter has to wear her K-pop Demon Hunter shirt, and my 2-year-old wore his Saja Boys, and my oldest was like, "Okay, how you get the shirt is you have to eat a double XL pizza." Okay? My oldest is such a tiny little human, but he's like, "I want to do this." And immediately I'm like, "My God, he's not going to be able to do this." So we go and he's eating this pizza and I see it. His eyes are glazing over. He had two slices, two slices. His eyes are glazing over. And I'm like, "Buddy, it's okay. Like, it's okay if you don't finish." And his little heart, he was so angry with me. And he goes, "Why don't you think I could do it?" And I was like, gut, like stabbing. And I was like, "It's not that I don't think you can do it. I'm physically watching you struggle. Like, I also don't want you to throw up everywhere." I was like,
Right.
"What?" Like, it's like crazy because here I am. And I'm like, I think I'm helping you by saying it's okay to quit. And then in his mind, it was like, no, she should be telling me I can eat this whole entire pizza.
Yeah. She should be encouraging me. Yeah.
Yes,
Even when you see the failure coming, let them do it. I mean, yeah, it sucks really hard to
it
watch your
really
kid
does.
fail. Melody's 10th birthday. Not just any birthday, 10th birthday. So, like, this is special, supremo special, massive birthday, right? We scheduled a children's business fair for her birthday because our city was doing a massive fall festival. And they have like 15,000 people come from the neighboring city to this event. It's huge. And I was like, this is the biggest thing that could happen for our organization, for your business. Like, we got to do this. And she's like, I got to do this. I want to make all that money. We're super excited about it. At the last minute, the city moved all of the vendors to another location except for us. We spent her whole birthday in an empty building. We maybe saw 10 customers all day long. It was the most excruciating thing I have ever done in my life to watch her sit through such a milestone birthday and make no sales. Bored out of her mind, heartbroken. I almost cried like 5 times. But when we got there, when we were finished, we packed up at the end of the day. She looked at me and she said, "Mom, I have 2 things." And I said, "Okay, honey." Like, I'm ready for her to lay it on me that she's furious with me for forcing her to do this on her birthday and ruining her entire birthday, and it's awful. And she says, "One, I don't want to do events on my birthday anymore because I really just want to be able to spend the day with you and grandma and having fun." And I'm like, fair, valid. I don't work on my birthday. Like, that is completely a valid thing. You got it, kiddo. We won't ever do an event on your birthday again. And she's like, 2, I think next time when we do a fair, if we want to bring in more traffic, I have these 3 ideas for how we can get better marketing.
My gosh. Me, I would have been like, I'm going right up to that person and be like, "Why weren't we moved? You need to move this table."
Yeah, we made so many announcements. We called the mayor, we called the city administrator, we called the city organizers. We did everything we could. We had signs outside the building. We were yelling in the middle of the road. There was a carnival, like legitimately like a Ferris wheel carnival. And we had kids selling lemonade. And so people just weren't getting the draw. And I was like, if you walked into the building, you would get the draw.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get them to where we were.
Oh my gosh. What a brilliant little girl.
Oh, yeah. But also with great boundaries, because she was like, this is how you can make it better, but I'm not doing it on my birthday again.
100%. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love this mission and I can't wait to like figure out ways to bring this to our community of moms who are all mompreneurs and for them to want to bring it to their schools. It's going to be amazing and we'll stay in touch and you can keep us updated on how we could do these and join the circle.
Yes.
But I'm going to ask you the last question now.
Okay.
What does being a money hungry mama mean to you?
I think it means being really financially literate because I did run a financial coaching business and understanding that being money hungry isn't about chasing down making the most money, but making sure that you're using it in ways that create a lasting legacy and have impact on your community.
I love that. I have chills. I love hearing the answers to that question because it's just like amazing that none of it is what people would assume. So it's beautiful. Thank you so much. Leah, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.